Good day. Welcome to a week at the plot. Few things that I want to crack on with this week, including getting our garlic in and also sowing broad beans. But before I do, I thought I'd show you two gifts that we have been given by fellow plot holders. They're quite apt because the sun is coming out, which is why I'm doing this at the door of the shed, because my eyes for some reason this morning are super sensitive. Maybe I've got some face cream in them, maybe something like that. Anyway, let me just show you what we have been gifted. Two lovely deck chairs. They need a bit of a wipe down with a damp soapy cloth, but that's obviously going to be a winter job. And I don't know again whether you treat the wood or not, but yeah, I just love these, really do. I suppose they're very reminiscent of my days on the beach in Guernsey as a kid, because deck chairs were, you know, the in thing, as were windbreakers, which had similar patterns on them. So yeah, happy times sheltering from thunder and lightning in a windbreaker tunnel with deck chairs outside and sandy sandwiches inside. Oh, happy days. Anyway, what am I doing today? Let's have a look. It's broad bean day, and I've decided they're definitely going to be going in this bed over here. What I will be doing is putting my string, I've got two strings, putting strings down and then planting on either side of them. I think you've seen me do that before, like a year ago, so I won't go into huge detail. We don't usually have issues with mice around here, but if you do have issues with mice, flip on over to Vivi's channel, because she has done a video about modular sowing of broad beans and how she's going to try and fend off mice. As I say, we don't normally have issues with mice, so I'm just going to be sowing them direct in the ground. I've put out my lines, and then what I've done is I've sowed seeds in a zigzag along. That just gives a little bit more spacing. They are about maybe 10 inches apart that way and a foot apart this way, and then in the middle there's a good, I'd say 15 inches between the row here and the row here. And all I'm going to do, once I got my glove on, is what you've seen us do elsewhere. So there we are, there's a bean here. I'm going to put my finger in and let the bean drop into the hole, pop it down, and then cover it up. Bean, hole, bean in the hole, push it down, cover it up. So that's my job for the other 51. There were 53 seeds in the packet, so I'll hopefully end up with 51 plants. Right, as you saw, I just tamped down the line with the end of my rake, just making sure that the soil over the beans are in contact with the soil. I know they are, but it's just an added precaution. And I am going to water these now. We're due quite a bit of water over the next few days. But when I put seeds in particular, if we're not going to have water that day, I will water them. That's just one can for all of them. As I say, we are due rain tomorrow. So hopefully from now on, they can just sort themselves out. They will, of course, need weeding. And with most of our beds, we hand weed them. But at that distancing, there is room for you to get a hoe in and hoe between your plants when they come out. Hopefully in 10 to 18 days, these will have germinated. I, of course, will be taking the lines out once the sun has hit them and the line has actually dried. Broad beans done. They're Bunyard's exhibition. We did them last year and they did really, really well for us. In the past, we've done Acquadolce, Claudia Acquadolce and Super Acquadolce, and they've done well, though not as well as Bunyard's exhibition. Whether last year it was just one of those things and they just did really well, I don't know, but quite a few other plot holders struggled with their broad beans last year. So I'm hoping that these will do well. As I say, they'll just be left to their own devices and the rain and the weather now. And if they get to a size where they need stringing up or a bit of support, I'll go through what we'll do with you then. If they grow really strong and they don't need any support until later in the year, which is what the Bunyard's exhibition did last year, they needed hardly any support whatsoever, we'll just leave them to it. By planting in 2 rows, or that zigzag if you like, on either side of the string, it allows air to get in down the middle, and you really want to try and make sure that you do have a bigger gap between those sets of double rows. That's what they are. Simply because black spot and rust can get in if there isn't a decent airflow. It can happen anyway, but at least by putting a decent gap between your sets of double rows, you're allowing for more airflow to get through, hopefully reducing the chance of diseases. Anyway, that's it for the moment. I'll see you again very soon. Bye. These are the garlic that we're growing this year. On the right up here is Messidrome, which is the one that we grew last year. Really nice big cloves. I have to say when they grew, the cloves were nowhere near as big as that, but it had a really great flavour. This one is Thermidrome. Again, you can see they're quite big bulbs. Again, most of them are nice and fat. I think there's the Messidrome here have fewer fatter bulbs than the Thermidrome. The Thermidrome has an outside circle, if you like, of really fat cloves, and then in the middle I found smaller cloves, quite a bit smaller cloves, where these on the Messidrome are generally more uniform, let's say. This is how you traditionally buy them. You buy a whole garlic bulb, which you then split. You tear off the paper, if you like, and then split them into this. So this is from 2 bulbs. This is from 2 bulbs. And then this side, we have Porcelain Music, which I could only get as cloves. So they arrived like this. And some of them have already started sprouting. Can you see that green there? And there, no, there, that's what I mean, there. You couldn't see the green there because there wasn't any. I picked up the wrong one. There we are, that one's sprouting. Porcelain Music is one that Greta has grown successfully this year, so I thought I'd have a go. So yeah, that's our seed garlic for this year. Let me show you where it's going. Our garlic bed for this year. You saw me do the onions there last week. The garlic is going in here. Obviously, I will be doing rows of individual varieties. And I think what we're likely to have is maybe 2 rows of Messidrome, 2 rows of Thermidrome, and 3 rows of Porcelain Music. As I did with the onions and as I did with the broad beans earlier, I'm going to lay them out first before I plant them into the ground. That's all the garlic lined up. What I've decided, because these are larger bulbs, I've decided to use more of the Thermidrome and Messidrome. So you can see a marker just up here. These at the top are Messidrome and these down here are Thermidrome. Thermidrome, Thermidrome, Messidrome, Messidrome. And then the last 2 rows here are the Porcelain White, because they are considerably smaller cloves. That, of course, doesn't mean that they're going to be considerably smaller garlic bulbs when they grow. What I'm going to be doing is making a hole with this dibber. It's actually a dandelion weeder, this one, I think. And the depth of the hole is going to be twice that of the bulb. So that's about just over, maybe that's 1.5 inches. So that's going to go down about 2.5 inches. So you want the base of the bulb to be twice the depth of the bulb. Where with the onions, when we did them over there, we did the onions so that the tops would literally just under the soil. The tips of the bulbs were just under the soil. Here, they're going to be, the top will be a depth of the bulb under the soil. I'm actually going to link in this to Vivi's video of her sowing, or planting rather, her garlic, because she explains it very well. That's it. All of the garlic is now in. There's my little marker. I will make a note that this is Messidrome and this is Thermidrome. Thermidrome, Thermidrome, Messidrome, Messidrome, Porcelain Music, Porcelain Music. So I will make a note of that. I may even do markers, but you know what? I usually forget to do those anyway. So I have just tamped this down with the end of a rake, like I did with the broad beans when I sowed those. When I say tamp down, I literally just mean tap. It's called tamping, but it's tapping the top of the soil, not pressing down, just sort of tapping it to loosen the soil and make it move down a little bit to make sure that it is giving a lovely tight bed to the garlic that we've just planted. So there we are. That's it for today. It's quite a mixed day. No rain forecast, but tomorrow and onwards we're supposed to have an awful lot more rain. Anyway, onions in, broad beans in, garlic in. That's sort of the job of planting done for the winter, unless I'm going to do some peas. I'll mull that. Okay, see you soon. Bye. I forgot to say, I do have some leftover garlic. So this is Messidrome and this is the Porcelain White. And I'm just going to put those into a trough planter that we have and see how they do. Bye. Look who we got here. It's the Lady Fenella. Oh, right in the middle of the path. Bless. What are you doing there? Do I need to go another way? I don't know if you can see because I'm sort of wobbling, but the markings on her coat over her flanks are absolutely gorgeous. Let me see if I can get a bit closer. Can I get a bit closer? Can I get a bit closer? Oh, she's getting a bit wary. Oh, I'm not really getting that in focus, am I? It's all shaky. Anyway, there she is. Quite happy on the path. Are you going to get up so I can move, or do I have to go another way? I think she's saying, can you go the other way? Yeah. I'll leave her be and go the other way. Good day. As you can see, I'm not at the plot. It's a wet day. I think they forecast rain through till about 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's been raining supposedly since about 3 a.m, so that would be 12 hours of rain. I did need to pop to the hospital for an x-ray this morning, which the hospital's only like a 10-minute walk away, and I absolutely needed an umbrella. But I don't need to go to the plot today. There's nothing that I need to harvest or definitely do. Anything that I was going to do today can wait until tomorrow. I've also got a couple of calls that I need to be on for Social Farms and Gardens. So yeah, a day at home. So yes, good day, a wet day. But that's still good. You know, the garlic and the beans, the broad beans that we put in and the onions will benefit from this rain. And I know that those beds are well draining as well. So they'll benefit from the rain without actually getting flooded out, which is fantastic. Which is another good thing about edge beds and raised beds. But of course, in the summer, when you have a lot of maybe drought and a lot of dryness, I was trying to think what I was going to say then, they need more watering because they drain well. Obviously, water finds its own level. So it will go down to the lowest level, if you see what I mean. Once it hits the ground, it then sort of gorgeously spreads out and keeps everything nice and moist, hopefully. Anyway, I thought I'd just mention the varieties of garlic that we're growing again. This year we're growing Thermidrome, which is new to us, Messidrome, which did really well for us last year, and Porcelain Music, which I've seen in the UK a bit confusingly also called Porcelain White, but not white as in the Isle of Wight, white as in W-H-I-T-E. Though let's just call it Porcelain Music, because I think that's easier. Now, Porcelain Music is actually a hardneck variety. You hear garlic talked about in terms of softneck and hardneck. Thermidrome and Messidrome are both softneck varieties. Now, soft-necked varieties generally store better and last longer in storage, and they are 99% of the time, if not more, the variety of garlic that we will buy in supermarkets. So if you're buying a garlic bulb in a supermarket, it is very, very, very likely to be a soft-neck variety. Hardneck variety are they're sort of the royalty, if you like, of the allium family. They are believed to have more complex flavours than softneck variety. So have we found that? I don't think we've done enough research to actually know that ourselves. Though certainly it's quite fun to grow two different varieties. If you can grow one softneck and one hardneck, that's great. Though if you're just growing for harvesting and eating, maybe a softneck variety is better for you because it will last longer. Hardneck varieties grow a scape, and that's basically a shoot, the flower shoot that comes out of the centre of the bulb. They're called hardnecks because this scape goes really, really hard when it dries. And I've heard some people say, oh, well, your garlic is growing a scape, is growing the flower head. You need to cut that off. If you're growing a hardneck variety, do not cut it off too early, because you want it to grow and curl a bit, because that's when all of the nutrients you then know are actually going to be stored into the cloves of your growing garlic, rather than going into the scape. But you want to get to that stage where your scape is beginning to curl at the top. In some regions of France, garlic is grown for scapes, and you may go to a market in France and see, you know, baskets and baskets of scapes because they're considered a delicacy. Softneck varieties do not normally grow scapes. However, if they are stressed because maybe too cold, which is unusual, or too hot, or the watering has not been quite right, the actual bulb as it forms may have been stressed, and it goes, oh, I need to flower. So it puts up a scape. If you're growing softneck varieties, do take that scape off as soon as you see it forming, because it is going to take goodness out of your bulb. Any other differences? My phone rang then, so apologies. Other differences between softnecks and hardnecks? Well, traditionally hardnecks have fewer cloves in them, but larger cloves. However, the Messidrome and the Thermidrome didn't seem to relate to that when I was looking at those cloves and putting them in the ground. They certainly seemed extremely large. I think the other thing to just be wary of is that, or not wary of, but to know, is that softnecks are better in warmer climes and hardnecks are better in colder climes. So if you are in areas that it gets very cold, then look at growing more hardneck varieties. If you're in warmer climes like the UK is, softneck varieties will do really well. Each of the varieties do like a period of cold weather, which is their vernalization. And that is when the clove actually starts forming and splitting away from the bulb. And I think it said that they like sort of 40 days of cold weather. I haven't done that research, but I don't think it's going to be any research that we do. But the reason that we plant in the UK our garlics in the autumn is because they like that vernalization. So of course in the UK our coldest times are sort of January, February. So you really want to get your garlic in the autumn. If you can't get your garlic in until the spring, then you're likely to have smaller bulbs, but you'll still get a harvest anyway. It will be a later harvest and a smaller harvest, but you will still get a harvest. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to leave you now. and have some lunch and prepare for my course this afternoon. Hopefully see you at the plot tomorrow. Bye. Good day. Gorgeous day today. Quite breezy. The lower clouds are scurrying along. Rather lovely. I've just popped down as I had things to go into the composter over there, the Dalek composter, and thought I'd check on the beds. Nothing yet in the garlic or onion beds. Isn't it glorious how we come down and we so hope we're going to see that first shoot? I have seen a few weeds. There's a few weeds coming up. And there's a couple of mushrooms. I'm not sure if you can see, there's a little mushroom there. So, yeah, but no shoots from garlic, no shoots from onions. And oh no, look, I need to get that out. There's a bit of cinquefoil. How on earth is that still in there? Let's pull that bit up gently. Soft soil. Can I get the root out? Yes. Oh, that's going into our hot bin composter. I've just actually checked our hot bin composter. It's got a 28 degrees reading outside and a 42 degrees reading inside. As you'll remember, I did do this tomato bed last week, and what I have been noticing is quite a lot of squirrels, or the same squirrel quite a lot of times, have been digging holes. So I'm glad I didn't plant the broad beans into this area, because I think the squirrel would have found them and had them out. And moving over to where I did do the broad beans with my big shadow, everything here is fine, but you can see Fenella's decided to dig a hole over there, so maybe that seed won't germinate, or if it does, it'll germinate somewhere else. I'm just going to leave the hole there, because I do find that with Fenella, and maybe it's the same with all foxes, if you leave a hole, they sort of keep away, but if you fill the hole in, they think you might have buried something, so they come back. Yeah, so I've just come to pick up, take the compost, or bring the compost down, take some lettuce back home, so I'll be harvesting individual lettuce leaves from here. And one thing that I was really enjoying a short while ago, let me go this side, is how these leaves on the blackberry cuttings are changing colour. I mean, they're just gorgeous. Can you see that? Look at that colour. These cuttings from the rose are doing really well. Let me just see if I can... Yeah, you can see there. Can you see roots? I'm in two minds whether to pot them on this side of winter or whether I do it in the spring. I'll think about that a bit. Those mallow that I took out, I've just trimmed the bigger leaves off so that they don't have to deliver energy to them. They're looking nice and healthy. And these are the cuttings of the lavender that we did. And nothing yet in the acorn pots, which is fine, I'll look in a week's time to see if I can see any root. Right, I'm pondering about taking these nets off at some point and just testing whether pigeons are going to go for them this year, but that will be for another day. I'm just going to harvest my lettuce now and see you tomorrow. Bye. Good day. The plot hasn't suddenly got much bigger. We're at Aston Rowant. As you can see, there's brassicas growing here. But then if we look up there, you can, I think, see there's brassicas and weeds at the edge, and then some type of brassica in the middle, which I don't know what that is. And there isn't a decent path to get there. Maybe we'll find out what it is later on. That's the big mast. That's a high point for Aston Rowant. So the nature reserve is over that way, and we're just traipsing through this wood at the moment. Which, as you can see, is full of autumn colour. Not a lot of reds. That's the way Richard's gone. And then that way over there is the way we will be going back later. Right, that's it for today. I'll see if I can find out what those brassicas are when we drive past them later. Bye. Good day. It is a rather grim Saturday, and I've just come down to the poly to give it a water because I haven't watered it in a couple of days. And I'll give these lettuce just here over my shoulder a water as well. And I was wondering about doing a video today and decided not to do one. However, as I was coming to my plot, I bumped into another plot holder that I had met the other day, and we'd been discussing pea shoots. As you may know, if you've been watching us, we do pea shoots over the winter from dried peas that you buy in a supermarket that you'd normally make mushy peas with or put into soups. And I said to this plot holder, the one thing you shouldn't do is use quick soak dried peas. And he said, why? And I said, well, I think they're processed in a way that they may not germinate well. Anyway, that was the other day. And when I bumped into him today, he had bought me a packet of quick soak dried peas for mushy peas. So he said, why don't you give it a go? So I am going to. Let me show you the box. These are the dried peas I've been given. Quick soak, as you can see, which I did say do not use, but we'll give it a go. This is the tray in which I'm going to put the dried peas, but first of all I'm going to put compost into here, and pretty damp compost but not wet compost. Obviously these peas are dried, as it says, dried peas. So they will need to be, they will need to take up water to be able to actually germinate, if they will germinate. And the first thing I'm going to do is just empty this box into here to see if the peas look any different to the ones I did last year. Right, about 20 minutes later, when I emptied the packet into here, I noticed that there was a whole lot of peas that were split, and this amount of peas that were whole. I certainly don't want these to be on the compost because they'll just rot away. So there's the first difference from the ones I planted last year and this year. The ones I planted last year, there were far more full peas, whole peas like this, and very few split peas. But I think these are made for soups and mushy peas, so you know, maybe that's why there's two types, one that's split and one that's whole. These also seem to be pretty battered. Whether that's because that's how they come or because they have been battered, I'm not sure. Right, what am I going to do with these? Actually, I'm just going to put those into the hot bin composter. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And now I'm going to fill this up with compost. Now, before anyone says, well, what you're doing as a trial is a bit of a waste of money, the compost that I'm using is spent compost. It's compost from our potatoes that we did in tubs. And obviously, I have been given this. So, yeah, given this packet. So it's not actually costing me anything. Look, there's the little, what's that, bicarb of soda tablet or whatever that came with it to quick soak the peas. Anyway, let me get on and fill this up. So that's the tray filled up with spent compost. And I'm just going to scatter the peas over. Remarkably therapeutic, this actually. Right, that's all the peas on top. I'm just going to press them in. Maybe just shuffle some around a bit. There's swans going over, I can hear their wings. Yeah, let's just shuffle some around so that they're a little more even. Sorry, I'm doing this very badly for you. Right. I'm going to pop that tray in next to our lettuce here. What I'm going to do now is just give these a spray. I'm also going to give this lettuce a spray over here. Right, as I say, the peas in here, this compost is on the wetter side of moist. It's not wet, but it's between moist and wet. So what I anticipate is that the peas will obviously soak up some of the moisture. And when I'm down here again tomorrow, I will give everything another spray. These lettuce seem to be doing well, which is great. I'm just going to give this is the tomato from the broad bean bed. Just going to give him a little spray as well. Right, that's it for today. We'll see if this experiment works. I think we'll know quite quickly because these will either start going mouldy or still carry on looking okay and start shooting. We'll see maybe by next week. Okay, that's it for today. Bye. Well, I was just about to leave and notice I've been gifted a gooseberry, 2 gooseberries. This one here and one over here. I knew I was going to be gifted these and I was going to help a fellow plot holder take them out, but she's already done that, so thank you very much to her. Instead of leaving these for another day, I'm going to put them into tubs now. Let me get them to the back of the plot where it's less windy and I can explain what I'm going to do. Right, this is the bush I knew I was getting, and then the other day I was told about there were 2 available. You can see in here there's quite a bit of grass. So what I'm going to do now is take these both back to absolute bare root. Look, there's some mare's tail there. I certainly don't want any of that going into my ground because mare's tail is a nightmare. Literally. So I'm going to take this back to bare root now, which basically means taking all the soil off and making sure that the only roots left in here are roots of the gooseberry bush. Once I've done that, I'm then going to pot them into these 2 buckets, again using spent compost from our potatoes that we had growing in these. And then I will just let them grow on into next year. Yeah, I think I'll just let them grow on into next year and see whether any of the weeds in here come up. Yeah. First of all, I'm going to take these right back to bare root and get all that ground off. Okay, I've taken this back to bare root now. You can see all the weed has gone. What I've done is I've very carefully washed and shaken the root, the whole plant, in deep water, in a trough of water, and made sure, gone right in here and made sure that all of the weed that I could see, the perennial weeds especially that I could see, well, any weed actually, was taken out. So you can now see that that is what bare root means. It's, oh look, there's a bit there. Oh no, that's just a bit of grass. It's bare root. It's only roots. Now, some of these roots are quite long. If you look at this one, that's quite long. Sorry, you can't see it. There. It's quite long. I'm going to be cutting that back because I want these to fit, as I said, into these troughs. Not troughs, pots. So I'm going to cut them back. Any dead wood that I see, I will also cut out. In fact, in this one, I don't think there is any. But in that one over there, this one here, there is. As I was doing what I was doing, I also came across 3 other plants. You can see they've got, one there with decent root, another one there, and that is just a bit of root that may come back. There's very, very small hair roots on there, so that may come back. So I'm going to pot those up. I am going to offer one of these gooseberries to a friend, one of the bigger ones. If she doesn't want them because of the weed that was in there, I'll offer her these because I know that these are absolutely, definitely, completely clean roots. Right. So I'm just going to get my secateurs and give things a little bit of a trim. I think everywhere else is fine. It was just that. Oh no, look. Yeah, that one can come back more. Can I just prop that up? No, it doesn't want to prop up. I'm going to cut that off. Right. Into those tubs it goes. Or they go, rather. These are now potted up. It's amazing how when things are potted, they look so much healthier already. There's that one there. I think these are definitely two different varieties. You can see this leaf is definitely a different colour to this leaf. I think I was told what variety this was, but not this one. And then those 3 extra that I found, they've been potted up as well. And in the case of this one and this one here, they've been cut back. I'm not going to cut either of these back at the moment. Yeah, I did think about it, but I decided no, because this one is definitely going to be going into our fruit bed when we prepare it, and I can look at the shape of it when it goes in then. That one, as I say, we're going to see if a friend wants, and if she doesn't, we'll gift her these 3. Right, that's a job for next week, tidying that area up. But I'm very happy to have got these done as my final week at the plot this week. Okay, gosh, it's windy. See you very soon. Bye.